Sean Diddy Combs placed on suicide watch at New York jail. Sources call it routine. So it's not like a big deal, LA time. Nah, just a regular thing. We put guys on suicide watch. He's in custody right now.
That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny.
Earlier this year, when Katt Williams sat down with Shannon Sharpe, people thought he was just cracking jokes, especially when he started to talk about Diddy's shady past. But now, it looks like Katt knew exactly what was coming. Remember what he said about Diddy's infamous parties? If you don't, let me remind you. Katt wasn't just talking about a regular night out. He hinted at some seriously wild happenings behind closed doors at these Diddy events. But here's the thing, Katt didn't just stop at Diddy. Oh no, he threw Steve Harvey's name into the mix too, suggesting that Steve was a frequent guest at these freak-offs. Yeah, the same Steve Harvey who's always giving relationship advice. And get this, rumors are swirling that Diddy might have some compromising tapes from those parties. Tapes that could explain why Steve's been laying low lately. With Diddy's scandal blowing up, Steve Harvey could be the next in line for exposure. Katt Williams seems to think Steve is in some deep water. And if these rumors come out, we might be watching Steve Harvey's perfect reputation crumble faster than a game of Family Feud. 1. Steve Harvey and Katt Williams. So, Steve Harvey, the mainstream relationship guru, is apparently on the run now that his brother Diddy's legal troubles are heating up. Word on the street is that very day Diddy got arrested, Steve packed his bags and skipped town. Now here's the real question though, if Steve's got nothing to hide, why would he rush out the country like that? Instead of flying under the radar, he made everyone even more suspicious. Could Steve be mixed up in Diddy's drama, or is there something else brewing behind the scenes? And for those who think this sounds like a reach, let's not forget the real tea. Steve has already gone ahead and deleted every tweet where he was singing Diddy's praises. Yep, all those warm, fuzzy tweets about his brother doing good in the world, gone. It's almost like Steve's trying to wipe his slate clean before anyone starts connecting the dots. Makes you wonder, what does Steve know that he doesn't want us to find out about? One of the most notable deleted tweets was this one, where Steve posted, "My brother at Diddy is doing a world of good for these kids." And if you think that one's bad, one of those deleted tweets was about Diddy donating $1 million for Hurricane Katrina relief. Now, seriously, why would you delete something like that? That's the kind of tweet you'd want to keep up, right? But no, Steve hit that delete button real quick, and now everyone's left asking why. Remember when Howard revoked Diddy's honorary degree and said that one of the checks he donated was returned because he hadn't followed through with the payment? Well, maybe this one was faux as well. And as shady as Steve's actions are, Katt Williams has been calling him out for years. In fact, recently Katt sat down on Club Shay Shay with Shannon and dropped some serious gems about Steve. You see, while everyone else might be shocked by Steve's sudden low-profile act, Katt's been hinting at this for a while. To refresh your memory, Katt once dragged Steve, calling him a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk well and looks like Mr. Potato Head. But that wasn't all. Katt even took credit for forcing Steve out of stand-up comedy. According to Katt, Steve didn't leave stand-up because of his 7 TV shows as he claimed. Nope, Katt says it's because Steve lost a comedy battle to him in Detroit, in front of 10,000 people. Katt said, "Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he has 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost. Because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore." Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Katt also accused Steve of stealing the idea for the Steve Harvey show from comedian Mark Curry. According to Katt, Steve watched Mark's whole sitcom and stole everything.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had.
Katt even took the liberty to debunk Steve's movie star claims. You couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them is asking for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good and looks like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You have to have range. And just recently, when Steve finally responded to all the accusations, he didn't deny a thing. You see, Steve Harvey has seemingly taken an aim at Katt Williams a month after the comic pointed out inconsistencies in his speech and conduct. In a crowd-recorded clip from Atlanta's Invest Fest, Harvey is seen telling the crowd not to entertain haters, noting that they aren't doing better than the person they're critiquing. You'll never have a hater that's doing better than you. Always know that. Don't get off the wall to address some petty A-boy who ain't got ish going for himself. Stop your climb on up the wall so you can come down here and talk to his little punk A. Don't do that, man. I stay away from it. Do I want to confront him? Yes, because I'm a human being. And I'm hood. I used to be a fighter and I still got hands. They slow, but if you got up on me real close, I can still knock your monkey A out. I just don't have the quickness I had, but I can still turn my hip and shift that weight and I'd knock your short A out. I'd shoot your perm straight out your head. Interestingly, this isn't the first time Steve has addressed Katt Williams' allegations. You see, back in January, when allegations surfaced, he gave a response on InvestFest, saying, "No, you ain't gotta tell nobody nothing. All you gotta do is be it. You don't have to open your mouth. He prepares a table in the presence of mine enemies. He do it all the time. All my haters, I ain't got nothing to say to them. They got TV, they can cut the TV on 7 days a week. All that hate, man, he on there." Unfortunately, Steve's cry for affirmation is not sitting well with the fans at all. They wholeheartedly believe Katt's side and his side alone. I really have to say that I respect Katt Williams, and I feel as though he deserves much respect. This is a man who's always been true to himself, and he's not going to be deceived or swayed by evil. He cannot be bought by evil. I also admire his courage for not hiding out when it comes to some of the seriously questionable things that go on with many celebrities. Katt is a man of God, and he's not afraid to admit that. He should be proud for standing up for what he believes in. God bless you, Katt Williams. Recently, Katt took to Instagram story and reposted a video about Diddy's recent arrest on S-crime charges with the caption, "Diddy about to snitch on everybody." Now, if you recall, Katt has already made it known that he once turned down a party invite from Diddy, despite coming with a hefty price tag. And now it all makes sense. While Steve might have said yes to the wildness, Katt wasn't about to get entangled in that drama. Looks like he dodged a bullet while others are scrambling to clear their names.
I'm quite likely to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
During an appearance on Club Shay Shay's podcast, he said, "I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about, right? Because P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything, I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely." At the time, the comedian also predicted that the year would be rife with scandals involving numerous high-profile individuals. All these big D deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if it's Diddy or whoever you is. In addition to that, Jaguar Wright has blown the lid off some jaw-dropping claims about Sean Combs in a scandalous freak-off party video that she says was sold on the dark web for a staggering $500 million. You might not believe it, but Steve Harvey is allegedly on that tape too. Yeah, you read that right. According to Wright, Diddy sold the footage out of desperation, and the video supposedly features some major Hollywood heavyweights. And the video containing good old Steve is also in the hands of the feds. Wright claims the videos were filmed during a wild event in Calabasas, and other celebs like Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Rihanna, and Drake were doing anything illegal. She even revealed the real reason why the video hasn't gone viral. Most people don't even know that the dark coin exists, but that's how they're trading for all the flesh they sell. That's why I became so outraged last year when the girls, he had them dressed like P, and then he auctioned them off as NFTs. The NFT was attached to the dark effing coin. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Word is that the feds have multiple tapes, and if Steve really is featured on one of them, we could be looking at the end of his squeaky clean career. His shows, his books, his entire image could crumble like a house of cards. No wonder he's been so quiet lately. Could his sudden exit from the country have something to do with this? Absolutely. Well, things are getting worse for Diddy since he officially has been slapped with a 3-count criminal indictment, charging him with a running of decades-long criminal empire that allowed him to commit horrific S crimes, physical A, and emotional manipulation against women. He was arrested in New York 2 weeks ago, and Diddy now faces charges for racketeering, ST, and transporting women for P. His lawyer is trying to fight for Diddy by any means possible. Well, he's claiming Diddy is an innocent man with nothing to hide, and that the prosecution is completely unjust. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney Office. But let's be real, it's hard to believe that when you look back at Diddy's own words in a 2002 interview with Conan O'Brien, Diddy casually joked about locking women in at his wild parties. He literally said the key to throwing a wild party is having locks on the doors to keep the women from leaving. Yikes. This is what you need to do. Women. Beautiful women, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. If you don't have what they need, they gotta leave. You gotta keep them there. You need locks on the doors. It's a little kinky. You need a lot of heat. You don't have no air conditioning, heat affects the alcohol, and everybody else also gets a little more comfortable and loose and builds up a nice little sweat. And that wasn't all. He even gave tips like making sure there's plenty of beautiful women and alcohols, plus water, because as Diddy himself put it, lots of ladies drink water at parties. With that kind of history, it's no surprise people are side-eyeing his claims of innocence now. Lawsuits and Diddy seem to go hand in hand these days, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon unless he's actually convicted. In the latest bombshell, all women known only as Jane Doe has filed a lawsuit in New York State Supreme Court, claiming that over the course of 4 years, Sean Diddy Combs arred and physically aided her. The accusations are shocking, with Jane Doe stating that she often woke up in Diddy's bed, injured, bruised, and with no recollection of what happened the night before. According to the lawsuit, the two met in 2020 at an overseas event that Diddy had paid for her to attend, and from there, things spiraled. She alleges that Diddy would fly her to his home in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, using coercive tactics to force her compliance. But it wasn't just words. She claims she was unknowingly D'd with alcohol and K pressured to engage in Group S against her will, and forced to watch Diddy A other women. One of the most disturbing claims is that in 2022, after she became pregnant, Diddy allegedly had an associate harass her into getting an AB. When she miscarried, that nightmare didn't stop. In July 2024, Jane Doe says she was summoned to Miami, where Diddy forced pills into her mouth, leaving her sick, confused, and waking up in a disheveled room with no memory of what happened. Defendant Combs and his agents and employees not only used language and tactics to force Jane Doe to act against her will, she was unknowingly D'd with alcohol and unknown substances. On one morning, she woke up and her feet were purple and bruised, and she had a bite mark on her heel. Jane did not know how she sustained these injuries. It's clear that as long as Diddy remains unconvicted, the lawsuits will keep piling up. You might remember when the feds raided Diddy's home in Los Angeles and Miami earlier this year, they didn't just come away with a few odds and ends. They found narcotics, 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, and a whole arsenal of ammo, and, wait for it, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Yeah, you heard that right. According to the indictment, it sounds like Diddy was preparing for something far more twisted than just a regular party. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. Just like Harvey, Usher is in full damage control mode after 6,000 of his tweets mysteriously vanished over the weekend, right after Sean Combs got arrested on those serious ST charges. Naturally, the internet had a field day with fans speculating Usher was scrubbing his digital footprints to avoid getting dragged into the mess. But Usher, ever the smooth talker, hopped back on X's account saying, "Account got hacked and damn y'all ran with it. See you tonight at Intuit Dome." Despite Usher's casual responses to the media lately, he's staying unusually quiet on the controversy swirling around his part in the Diddy saga. And it's not looking good for him, especially after a recent civil lawsuit by former Danity Kane member Dawn Richards claimed Usher witnessed Diddy's DV against Cassie Ventura. Social media has been quick to dig up old interviews, raising some serious side eyes about Usher's long-standing relationship with Diddy. Let's not forget, Diddy didn't just produce Usher's debut album, they've got history. Back in the 90s, teenage Usher even lived with Diddy for a year. And in a 2016 interview with Howard Stern, Usher dropped some cryptic hints about the wild things he witnessed during that time in Diddy's mansion. He said, "I got a chance to see some things. I don't know if I can indulge and even understand what I was looking at." That's a little more than suspicious. And it doesn't end there. In a 2004 Rolling Stone interview, Usher admitted that Diddy's place was like a non-stop party. There were always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it, or several people in a room having an O. You never knew what was going to happen. A former warden has raised alarms about Sean Combs' safety while he's locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. Known for housing some of the toughest inmates, this facility isn't exactly a walk in the park. And according to Cameron Lindsay, the ex-warden, Diddy might be in some serious trouble. Lindsay claims that Diddy's life is in danger due to the potential of other inmates to target him. It's not about revenge or a hit job, it's more about earning a badge of honor by taking down a high-profile figure like Diddy. But it won't be a problem as federal prosecutors anticipated this threat and have taken precautions. They placed him in a special housing unit specifically for high-profile inmates, keeping him away from the general population. This section has seen its fair share of infamous residents, including R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Michael Cohen, all awaiting their own trials. Diddy's currently detained there after being denied bail twice, even after offering a staggering $50 million bond as part of his bail package. So while he may be safe from the general populace for now, the stakes are incredibly high for the music mogul as he awaits his S-Crimes trial. And it's possible that unpleasant things about Harvey might also come to light. That's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.